parents live over in Waynesville too, so sometimes we go over there when I'm in town. And same thing, like Waynesville's kind of becoming a hip little town, and her grandparents are none too pleased.
Right? Yeah.
They're like, we hate all these
There's
breweries.
non-binary people walking around with tattoos, and they're like, oh shit.
What the hell's a tapas? Yeah, they're pissed. They don't love it, but they're from here. So I don't know. I go back and forth on that because we experience that a lot in Bristol too. People being like, leave it alone.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's healthy to have that back and forth, you know?
Yeah.
We've gone awfully far with it here, but...
That's true. I'm all for
it's more the rich
preserving
people
culture,
that-
but like...
It's more just rich people that I think. It's not like... That's what I think is ruining Asheville. Is just like you can't afford to live here if you're not a trust fund kid or something.
Did it just become too cool of a place? Is that what happened? It's too cool. And then everyone finds out about it.
Yeah, I think so. I guess so. Yeah, when did it happen? It's been like a slow... I've been here for 24 years, so it's like, when did it get to be
So when you came, it was not.
No, it was like downtown was still just like mostly not happening.
Yeah.
And you could... We lived for like $400 in some apartment. You could walk to downtown.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the studios down by the river.
Yeah.
I mean, it was still like cool.
Sure.
But it was not. It was cheap cool.
It's kind of underground cool. Yeah.
And then rich people were like, "Ooh, this is nice. We should take this from them."
Yeah. It does happen. Have you ever... My favorite thing is like photos of like boom towns now. Like I get a lot of like Gatlinburg in the 60s and stuff, and you look at those photos and you're like, oh, that's not really that long ago. That there was almost nothing there.
Wow.
And now it's like you can't drive through there. You know, it's obnoxious to go there.
Yeah.
It's really crazy.
I haven't been to Gatlinburg since like when I was a teenager. We'd go there all the time for like the church weekend, and then you get to go to the arcades. But
yeah,
there's a comedy club there, right?
There is. Well, I think they're currently rebuilding.
Okay.
Jersey Hustle.
Yeah, that's
Is that
the one. I've
Yeah.
never got a response, but
yeah,
I've sent him a few emails.
that's old Ray Flasher. He's a great dude. I really like Ray. I've worked there a few times, and Travis did like a Travis Stevenson and Friends satellite show there once, and had me and Jared on it, and that was really cool. But they're kind of in the back of a pizzeria, and I think they didn't love the location or the clientele or whatever, so I believe they're about to reopen a new location somewhere. All I know is sometime in April they're supposed to have Dale Jones there, and I would love to go to that because he's something else.
Yeah, I know that name, but
he's
Dale Jones.
He's up there for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's top 3 for me that I've ever worked with.
Okay, he's not just regional.
He's an interesting cat. Like he's been a real road dog for like 30 years, and I'll tell you off mic. There's some business talk as to why he's where he is now and stuff. But he is the killer of all killers. I mean, I think I was doing a pod last night in my studio, and I was talking like I think there is a thing with stand up where like once you're crushing so hard, there's other people who can crush as good, but there's only so much. You know what I mean? Like if everyone's gasping for air, that's about as good.
Right.
It's hard to do better than that.
Yeah, there's a point where it's like people need to breathe.
Yeah, like that's as good as you can do.
Yeah.
And I worked 4 shows with him, and I saw him do that every time.
Yeah, just saturated.
All
the way to 11.
At this point, it's kind of his crowd too. So I mean, I guess you could argue it's sort of a stocked pond, maybe, but I don't know, man.
That's the dream. I mean, you got to earn that stocked pond. You know?
Yeah. That was at the Catch too. So they have a balcony. It's a huge room. It's notoriously big and open, and just it was as if we were in an underground club with 20 people there.
Yeah, weekend I did the Catch one weekend, but it was like, maybe 50 people sat close. I mean, it was still good, but it's like I can imagine when it's full because it's huge. I mean, what is capacity? That's gonna be hundreds.
I think it's about 250.
250
with the balcony.
Yeah,
and I could be wrong, but I think it's
that
somewhere.
Sounds right.
He sold out 2 of the 4, and the other 2 were damn close. It was a great experience getting to meet him, and also just being in the green room with a guy like that. I don't have to say much because he's just full of.
They had a green room at the Comedy Catch.
They just got one.
Okay, I was like, I didn't.
Yeah, they didn't
we
invite
weren't even
you back.
allowed. I guess there weren't enough people there that weekend.
I think the weekend I was there was one of the first weekends they used it. It's kind of cool. It's very Goodfellas. You like go through the kitchen in the back. There's a camera that follows you, steady shot through the kitchen.
You're like stabbing some guy. You like walk past that,
past the fur coats, past the yeah. It's a small space, but it was cool, man. And just to listen to a guy with 30 years under his belt talk about just how much the industry has changed was really inspiring and terrifying at the same time,
Right. Yeah. It's like, man, if only I'd done this back when there was only 200 working super funny people.
Yeah. And he was kind of, I don't know. I mean, he's found a lot of success online. He's one of the rare, 30-year comics that has, I would say right now, he's probably as big or bigger than he's ever been.
Has he got specials?
He does.
Okay,
yeah, he does.
Some of those old school guys don't like, they're like, I ain't giving it away. That's like the old mentality.
Yeah, I don't know where they live, those specials, but he's got a ton of clips online that are obviously professionally
shot.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I think quite a few of them are older, though. I think in recent years he's just road dogging it again, and he's so good at algorithms that he's become my grandma's favorite comedian because she doesn't understand how Facebook works. She thinks everybody sees the same stuff. So she's like, is he Richard Pryor? She thinks he's the greatest. So I got to have her come down.
He's always on.
He's always on my feed all the time. But she got to meet him. She came down for those shows and he gave her a hug and a t-shirt.
Oh, wow.
It's that's when, I think that's the first time ever she was like, you should keep doing comedy. She was supportive.
Validated. You're with the guy. Yeah. Is he cleanish?
Cleanish.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
He is. I as the host was asked to be squeaky clean, and then he of course was not so much.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of, they like that sometimes. It's like, just talking about that. Paul Snyder was on. He's like, even people that are dirty, they want a clean opener.
Yeah,
the clean is like, let the genie out of the bottle.
Yeah, I think honestly in that situation, I think it was maybe more the club imposing that regulate. I don't think Dale actually gives a shit.
Yeah,
because I talked to him after, and I think, and maybe he did behind the scenes.
And that's his audience, so they're coming for him. But it's like some kid they haven't seen before is like, hey, sexual assault. They're probably just saying that just in case you're gonna be some dude that doesn't have material except.
Yeah, I couldn't do my sexual assault bit, unfortunately, but no, it was fine. It
sucks, man. That's your closer.
I know, it's my big punch. I did the first show and was pretty happy with it, and I did about 10 clean, pretty squeaky, which is more than I thought I had. And then I guess it went just well enough that I got a little overconfident on the late and I crossed the line a little bit.
Yeah.
And to where the club owner afterwards was like, can you clean it up tomorrow? And I was like, of course. I said, how was the first set? And she was like, first set was good. And I was like, I'll just do that. And then I did that
Danielle,
for 2 shows.
Calling you out.
Yeah. No,
that's great.
She had every right.
Great,
I even said, I was like, I don't know what I was thinking. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. I don't know why I did that. I'm so sorry.
That's a common. We were talking about that on the podcast too. That the early show always feels like you always get cocky with the second show because the first one goes well. Yeah. But the second show is often just harder anyway.
I'm also so used to the don't tell world. That's 90% of my shows that I'm like, clean means clean-ish, and it turns out it doesn't.
Whereas a southern club like that, there's a lot of people that are like, we're going into the city to Chattanooga for the day, and then there's church tomorrow or whatever, and they're just,
Yeah, but he gets away with it. That's the other thing. I mean, they love him so much that he can do whatever. And he, for anyone who's curious, Dale Jones is, again, he's incredible. And he's a guy that when I'd be in green rooms in the South, I always ask, who's the killer of all killers? He comes up a lot.
Oh, really?
A lot.
I'll have to check him out, man. I bet I'd recognize him. He sounds like he's probably someone I'll be like, oh, that guy.
He is like a human Looney Tune. He is literally, if a
get all physical,
so much energy, more than anybody I've ever seen. And I asked Danielle, I was like, do you think he'd mind if I took some decent pictures while I'm here? Because I have my camera. And she was like, I don't think he'd mind at all. So I was taking them, and I took about 1,200 pictures that weekend. And 1,198 of them were blurry because he's so crazy.
He's just always in motion.
I have a series that I put together on one splash page of maybe 60 photos. And it's him doing this act out where it's not really a spoiler, but he's cleaning his ears and he's relating it to loading a musket. And so he's doing this motion and his face is all slow motion. So I put them all on one screen. It's so funny.
Yeah, Jim Carrey. There's things like that.
He's very Jim Carrey.
If you could just be that physical, or if you can I can't do impressions or accents.
Yeah,
but if there's these tricks that if you just have that, you can kind of do. And then you actually have good material too, and it's this thing.
Yeah, he has it all, man. Yeah. The crowd work was great. There was one of the 4 that was a little rowdy, and he handled it so well. I mean, he also, he did about 4 hours of time when, the weekend that I saw him. I would say I saw
early, late,
pushing 3 hours of unique material.
Oh, wow. He wasn't repeating the set?
Not much.
Yeah.
Not like opener, closer for sure. Maybe a couple hits throughout, but that dude, 30 years, he's got days of material,
Yeah.
Really impressive to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like when I'll go long like that, I'm always like, it's going to be a lot of the same stuff for the late show, just so you guys know.
I'm pulling out everything I've got.
I'm kind of just doing the best.
That's where I'm at with like a 30. A couple of times I've been booked for like a 30.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whew, we're getting into like, I haven't tried this since my first time on stage.
Yeah, right.
We're bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, you go long and then you go clean and it starts to be like, well, let's dust that one off. Hey, how about everybody's wearing these masks, huh? It's like
references don't line up. Yeah.
Like the Kmart
God,
material.
who did shoot JR? I'm telling you. I start digging deep, man. I go back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy it, though. I mean, working with guys like that kind of like reignites a little something in me where I see the potential and go like, I don't know if I'll ever be at that level, but the fact that somebody is cool.
Yeah, just being next to it is so great.
It is. It also reminds you of your place where I'm like, I'm nowhere near that level. It really checks your ego a little.
Yeah.
Because, I think we all have like a pretty good set or occasionally a couple in a row, God forbid, and you think you're on top of the world. And then you see that and you go, I'm terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go see people. Like, we don't see a lot of music, but we'll go to the Orange Peel or the theater and see people, and it's usually like that. Like, we're gonna see Mulaney here and sometime this year. God damn, that's an expensive one.
I'm sure.
A fancy little dude.
He's got to pay for that heroin, dude. He's got that money's got to come from somewhere.
But those shows make me like, we saw Chappelle there, and you're just kind of like,
wow,
why am I even?
Why am I even? Probably a dream come true show for me. I got to see Louis at the Ryman last year. And it's like everything I've ever wanted to see. It's the Ryman. It's everything.
I would love to see someone at the Ryman.
Oh my God!
Comedy. I saw Louis here last year in our theater.
Did you?
Yeah.
I assume it's the same hour, the ridiculous hour.
Yeah, which is coming out Netflix.
It is.
So
interesting that they've had him back. Which you and I have talked about Louis a lot, but that I just saw it yesterday.
Chappelle's probably done. There's like offended so many people that they're like, this is not hurting our. If anything, it's like people just say Netflix. They just say the brand more.
It will be huge too. I mean, it will.
Yeah.
The result will be massive. But to see him at the Ryman was, again, it's like he's my guy, really, as far as comedy goes. So, and the Ryman is one of my favorite rooms in the country. So it just very surreal. Even just being in the audience, God forbid I ever touch that stage. But it was really special.
I've toured the Ryman like during the day, but I've never, for some reason, I've never seen a show there, which is like total bucket list.
It's something, man. It really is. I toured it during the day. I went through a bunch of really hard things in my kind of later teenage years, and so then post-pandemic, as soon as things started to kind of open back up, I was like, I have to live my life, man. Like it was rough for about a year before the shutdown, so it just added to it, and so. My grandfather had kind of gotten sick. He's since passed, but we planned this big trip to Nashville, and I took him and my grandma to the Ryman. And my grandma had went there on a high school field trip in like 1970 or something. And the crazy part, she has like no memory, but the crazy part is we walked in and she went she was like walking through the aisles, and then she would sit down and stand up and scoot over, and finally she was like, this is it. She was like, I sat right here in 19 or whatever, like that room holds so much memory. And
Johnny Cash,
that's my guy.
Yeah, because he had a show, like, right? Didn't he have like a TV show?
He had the Johnny Cash show.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
It's all there.
Amazing.
Just unbelievable, that, and they have, you've toured it, so they have, for anyone listening, they have like Dolly Parton's dress and all these different things, and Dolly Parton has a dress and a case in the back, and obviously it's very large in certain proportions in the dress and the mannequin. And I was standing there looking at it, and from out of nowhere, my grandpa just kind of walked up behind me, and he was like, whose dress do you think that is? Like, he was cracking little jokes the whole time. But my grandma is the most socially anxious person I've ever met. Like, she doesn't want to be looked at, in public, very nervous. And we convinced her to go on stage. They do a little photo op there at the Ryman, and they give my grandfather this prop guitar to hold. And so we're standing up there, and there's dozens, if not maybe close to 100 other people like walking around in the seats and touring. And my grandfather takes this guitar, and we're like standing there for a picture. And my grandma, of course, is like, hurry up, take the picture. And my grandfather goes, he's like, this thing's missing a string. And he just starts going bing, 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 bing. And it's echoing, and everyone's looking at us. And my grandma's like punching him, dude. There's a photo of us where I am dying laughing because she's humiliated and he is totally unaware. I mean, it's core memory. Yeah. It's a special
great.
room.
Yeah, that's awesome because you reminded me of like your Andy Griffith bit because you grew up with your grandparents.
Very much so.
I was thinking about that joke because you were talking about doing 10 clean, and that's like that's one of like your signature jokes. I think you probably will always do that joke.
I think so.
It's clean. It's short. It introduces people to you and what's different about you. And then, like, I like to watch you deliver that joke because when you're pausing before the punchline, I feel like you're like you pause. It's gonna work.
Yeah.
So you do something. There's always that moment in your set where I'm like, oh, he's gonna do that joke.
Yeah.
Where you kind of like you really like add the space before the punchline.
Yeah, that's evolved, obviously, like everything. But I've gotten to the point where I have a little more confidence. And don't get me wrong, occasionally it does bomb, that joke. But of my set, that's one of my surefire.
Maybe everybody's young. Is that when it bombs?
Occasionally.
When it's like everybody's like your age or younger? Then
it's really shocked me where that works, too. Like I did that in a show in very downtown metropolitan D.C., and it hit so hard. Like, everybody kind of knows Andy Griffith.
Yeah.
The real treat is when I do it anywhere in North Carolina, and I can be like, it's not far from here. I know you guys know where I'm talking about,
To get the extra little
Yeah, I think as the years have gone, I've had that joke for years, and so I've learned I can really stretch that pause. Normally, I don't have the confidence to hold for too long, but right there, I can kill about 30 seconds.
That's why it stands out, and we talk about that on here a lot, that like when you're trying a new bit, that's kind of part of it is I'm scared to pause for too long. But when you know a bit, you're like, this is a good joke. It's worked, whether they laugh or not, and you take that confident pause. It's like, you should do all your jokes that way.
Yeah.
But it's hard.
It's like a trust fall kind of situation for me where it's like, God, I hope they catch me. The
more silence there is, the more you're like,
yeah.
I need to laugh.
This better pay off. Yeah. And there's certainly been a few where I hit the floor, but for the most part I've found, and it's one of the, I really stand by that, like, bend it till it breaks kind of thing. So with that one, I'm yet to push it too far on that pause. I'm yet to find.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I can't stand there for 10 minutes, but it's probably, I'm yet to be seen. I don't know. I'm probably up to, time feels so different when you're on stage, but I'd say there's a 20-second pause there maybe at times, and that it works.
Is that like one of your, as far as those first jokes, the ones that you stumble on and they stay in your act? Most of your early jokes just, for me anyway, they don't just go away. They're bad.
Yeah, it was pretty
early.
One
of your first ones, you're like, I got something here.
I think so. It's so
just need 100 more of these.
It's so 1,000 more.
1,000 more of these.
It's so different, honestly, than when I started. I used to say, Jeopardy was the line. Jeopardy comes on at 5. And then I had a whole follow-up of, like, my grandpa would be like, or the question is like, things your dad didn't do. And I'd be like, what is stick around? But that tended to make the crowd too sad or, like, sympathetic. Yeah. So I was like, how do I get away from going too sad? Yeah, I got a lot of awes.
Oof, the awes.
And I didn't really have the props at the time to... Now I get a couple awes and I know what to do with it, but back then I was like, no, I'm not trying to make you sad. Like, I'm trying to be funny. So yeah, that joke's just evolved so much, but I think it's a joke's never done, but it's close, Yeah. It's fine where it's at.
And it's so short too, so it's like you can probably hook it into different things too.
That's a great joke if I'm doing like a 1 minute,
right,
like a knockout or a rapid fire open mic or something. That's usually what'll come out.
Yeah.
1 minute. Super quick. Pretty clean too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned like not bumming them out too much. And Louis, like Emily and I just started watching Baskets, which we'd never seen in the last. I'm sure you're familiar, right?
Oh, so good.
I would say, because you mentioned that you read what's the name of the book that he wrote?
Ingram,
and it was like I don't know, spoilers or whatever, but it's probably more tragedy than comedy. There's the idea that they're two sides of the same coin, and I find Baskets to be more of a tragedy. There's like funny moments, but it's just like ugh.
Have you ever seen Afterlife? I was just talking about this last
with Ricky Gervais. It's kind of like that too, right?
Yes, like I was on the pod I was doing yesterday. I was like, that show. It's not something I would ever gravitate towards, but I was recommended it, watched it, and for anybody listening who doesn't know, that show is about literally the first 10 seconds is like a man who wants to kill himself because his wife died of cancer, but he can't because somebody has to feed the dog. That's the whole premise of the show, which is so dark.
Yeah.
And honestly, it gets progressively darker in spots, but I think because of that, the humor hits so much harder. Like there's a line late in season 1 from a character that you've kind of met a few times, but it's so out of nowhere and off the wall that it's one of the hardest I've ever laughed at a scripted thing ever. It's
right.
It hits so hard because it's so dark.
Because you're just not laughing.
Yeah, I think that's Louis for the most part.
Yeah,
he's a master at that too. So I don't. It's interesting that I would say like he's my guy because I don't really emulate that a lot in my stand-up, but just I respect it. I respect the hell out of it.
Yeah, man, it's just you can't deny just the work ethic, the years, the number of different things.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, we both do. You're someone who kind of does the different renaissance within comedy. You know, you do a podcast, you run shows.
Yeah,
you stand there and do the jokes. You know.
Yeah,
writing for TV shows, whatever else. Like I'm sure we would do that. It's
interesting you bring that up. Have you ever written a show or anything like that, just for fun?
No, I've always wanted to. Right. Like even sketch. I've wanted to do that, but no, I still haven't done that.
We've talked about doing sketch a lot. Like me and Travis Stevenson, who's a friend of mine. I think he's been on the show, right? Has he done Planet? Yeah, he's amazing, and I'm fortunate that he's a close friend of mine. So we've talked about some sketch ideas. I used to kind of run around with some Knoxville guys that have pitched ideas and stuff, but it's just so collaborative, and it's hard to execute, you know? So lately, I have a lot of downtime during the day at my day job, so I actually have been writing a show.
Ooh.
And I even feel weird saying it because I'll probably never show it to anybody, but I just have found so much creative joy for the first time in so long because it's somewhat autobiographical from like a period of my life when I was younger that's very, nostalgic for me. So it's like it's so rooted in truth and memory that it's not hard to write. I just sit down and write, and I'm 3 episodes in now, and I just I don't know what to do with it. I don't know if I'll ever do anything with it, but I have some friends that write for some studios out of Atlanta and stuff, and I've mentioned to them just like, I don't want to be this friend, but like hypothetically, if I wrote a show, would you just tell me that it's bad? Like just read it, I haven't got there yet, but it's just stand-up can be so exhausting, man. I mean, the writing side is like I'm out of ideas, I'm burnt out, but this is different because I can just put it down whenever. I don't have to work it out on stage. It just lives on a Google Drive. So,
even like this kind of lives beside stand up, even when I'm not writing anything or I've had some bad shows. It's like this is a nice compliment. We're still in the comedy world. But it's almost like the comedy and tragedy thing. It could be the same topics, but how you present them, like the podcast or the show. It's all kind of the same material.
Yes.
But yeah.
Do you ever like pick up something on this pod that you take to stage and it works?
Yeah, there's times where I'm like, oh, that made my guest laugh.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that's kind of more how I've been writing recently is if I just say something and somebody laughs or I think of something,
right?
Then I like go, oh, let's take that to the stage, maybe try to say it to myself in the car on the way there. But this space is like, 90 minutes of talking. Yeah. When else in life do we even do that without being interrupted? So this space really has generated a lot of that. Yeah.
And especially with other professional comedians, like if it makes them laugh, I maybe have something.
Yeah, right. And it also just like how to write jokes. That's helped tremendously, like the way people talk about that's why I started the pod. It's like, how do you write a joke?
Yeah. And everyone does it so different,
right?
Too. I've found that, like, just in my daily life, there'll be stories that I just repeat. Like, something just happened to me 2 days ago that I've told 9 people about. And I've noticed that almost unintentionally, as I'm telling these 9 people, I'm polishing it. Like the next person I call, it's like whittled down. And I haven't got to take it to stage yet, but it's one of the rare things that I go, I think this might be something that might work. I just have to figure out how to translate it. Yeah. Rarely does that happen, but on the pod it happens a lot, and a lot of it doesn't work when I try it. But definitely, there's been things where I'm like, "Oh yeah, that made that guy laugh," and if it makes him laugh, it's probably pretty good. And then it doesn't work. Ultimately, it bombs, but sometimes it does. Yeah.
Yeah, even if it bombs though, it's like maybe next year, you'll think of some line or you can connect it to some Andy Griffith little joke, and that closes it out.
It's a piece of something.
Yeah. So
I've also found with me, like, when I talk very candidly with people that I trust or something, and I can be somewhat heartfelt, but also obviously with joking, like intention about just some of the tragedy of my childhood and stuff, that tends to get a positive reaction. And I don't know what's different because early on, especially when I would do that stuff on stage, I would get a lot of awes. It would be very sad.
Yeah.
When I'm doing it with somebody I trust, I think they know me well enough. There's that rapport that they know I'm not victim. I'm not pulling that card.
You're
or I'm
not
not
trying
whatever.
to get pity.
Right.
That's not your intention.
I'm doing it for the laugh.
Yeah.
So if I could figure out how to do that more on stage, that would be great for me. That's kind of where I'm at with that.
Yeah, I wonder if it's even like
stuff.
ordering it differently in the set, or maybe even just the being confident in the pause. Maybe there's just something about your energy on stage where
something small.
After years of being funny, you can just say the same words, and they've accepted you as a stand-up comedian. Whereas when you're new, you can almost kind of be apologizing, or unsure in your ways that are just visual or subtle.
It's kind of weird. Like, I don't know if your audience is predominantly other comics or not, but like on my show, I have a lot of local business owners, and more often than not, that'll get shared amongst their friend groups and stuff. So it's a lot of non-comics listening, and I'm always worried that I'm talking too much inside baseball on comedy.
Oh, right.
But one thing that I've found with that is, like, when I'm talking about this process and stuff, I think that it's like a broader thing. Even I think in your and I's episode of my show recently, it was like we're talking about stand-up, but it also is very relatable.
It's a lens to anything.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Right. Whatever you love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly autistic male comics, my audience. So.
Got it. Well, good. That's
and I love you all,
and guests as well.
Yeah, right. And the host as well. That's sort of what it is.
I told you what I got. I've been catching up on Home Planet. I've been a little behind, but I've only listened to a few, just like people I know. I'm almost finished with Paul Snider's because I love Paul, and I found him to be very honest on the show, which I appreciated.
Yeah, just a very funny, clean, humble dude.
Humble,
but also like he was someone I was really just like his system for getting booked and stuff like that too. I mean, we're both pretty organized, high functioning dudes with jobs, but there's a lot of maniacs out there that could benefit from that kind of stuff. So I think there probably is the people that listen that tell me they listen are probably a little more nerdy, like a little more into the meta.
Sure.
But I mean, I love what you said about like before podcasts, I'm so old that like Fresh Air was kind of my first podcast at NPR show. And it was like, today we're talking with like a baseball pitcher who still throws a knuckleball, even though that's old. And he would talk about how and why. And and I'm like, well, I can write a song from this.
Right.
That was what I was into at the time. And just the process of being creative, it's like it doesn't have to be your thing. Like it's almost cooler to, if you want to learn how to write a joke, to listen to like how do you architect a building, or just getting inside people's minds. So I could see why business owners and people, you're talking about comedy, but the principles are universal.
And it's interesting because part of my show is I really want that's the only way I can stay hungry for the show, is to have such a random slew of guests. And last week I was recording with the guy who owns the wrestling gym that we did Don't Tell Him, and he's also a professional wrestler and has been for like 20 years. So he's telling me all about professional wrestling and the performative nature and the physicality and all these things, and like almost unintentionally, and maybe to like an annoying degree, I'm always like, oh, that's just like stand-up. And like I can translate what he's saying to me. That's the same for when I've had psychologists on the show. Yeah, actors. I mean, I've had a lot of different folks, and it's always like I relate to what you're saying, even though I've never been in a ring except that show. Yeah,
and I think that's the skill as a stand-up comedian. It's all one thing,
Yeah.
We're in Nashville now, so it's like, it's all one, baby. It's
I'm
like
feeling it.
So it's like, learning. It's like I'm just trying to stand here and like speak my truth, relate to you. So it makes sense that if you can kind of relate your life to some other thing, it's still this connective thing that the unnameable thing we're trying to do is just like connect
and relate. And that's one thing I remember hearing a lot when you first start and you're listening to all that dog shit advice that other comedians want to throw
people
at you.
That are like 6 months in,
that are just, or worse yet, maybe 20 years in with nothing to show for.
They hate it.
They go up once a year and they're like, I've been going up 20 years.
Right.
A lot of those cats. They always like be relatable. I don't think that's necessarily bad information, but I think that as a young comic, me especially, internalize that as like talk about things that people can directly relate to. I don't know. I think it is broader, like you're saying. Like the Andy Griffith example. There's a lot of people in the crowd who didn't grow up with their grandparents watching that show. Yeah. But really, what's behind that joke is fish out of water, because it's about me not relating to my peers, and everybody relates to that in some way or another. You know, like that is relatable.
And trying to do it where you're like, what this audience needs it to not be that show, but this other, like people can sense. Then you're trying to like, that's when you get into trouble, I think. And I did plenty of that early on, like trying to be someone else for them. Yeah. Whereas like that's your experience. Like even though it wasn't Andy Griffith for them, they can respect that. Like that's your truth, you know.
The relatability thing is also interesting. I feel like you either want them to relate to you very heavily or not relate to you at all,
or just be like, fuck y'all, and I don't give a shit. You know, like there people are like, well, I respect that too.
Like, that's so crazy that you grew up that way.
Yeah. If I was in front of people that weren't like me, I would want to be irreverent too. Like pandering. That's where you get into trouble.
I hate it. And also, like, I do have occasionally, usually guys who look exactly like me about my age will come up after and be like, hey, man, I grew up with my granddad. I relate to you, you know? And then I have other people who are like, did you really live with, is that true? And I'm like, yes. Like, both are somehow intriguing, even though they're like polar opposite reactions, you know?
Yeah.
It's, I mean, we could spend days talking about, I'm such a stand-up nerd, but it's fascinating.
Everyone feels lonely inside, and everyone's trying to like hide it or, you know, deal with that or have moments where you connect or have community or feel accepted. So whatever your version of that is, that's the universal truth. So like trying to find that and then do it and then like make it fit into jokes without too many likes or ums. That's why I listen back to this podcast and it's like all likes and ums.
Likes and ums.
But then I try to get it. You know, this is like the the brain dump, and then try to find it into some.
I was just listening to, like 2 days ago, I was on a hike, and I was listening to Zandra's episode of the show. I love Zandra. Shout out to, I hope to God she takes the time to listen, because I love her so much. And y'all were talking about the likes and ums. And what was so funny to me is I hadn't even picked up on it. But then after you talked about it, every time either of you said like or for the rest of the episode, I was like, like I kept feeling them a little harder now that you pointed it out.
I should cut that out of this podcast because I ain't stopping for the second half.
That was a great episode too. And my favorite part of that whole show, which I was on a hike and I was like, I can't believe I remembered this, honestly. Because, you know, you're always like, I got to tell him that when I see him and I forget. Yeah. My favorite thing was several times in the episode, she was talking about online dating and how she actually loved it. And you were like, that's such a weird take and all these things. And I think that's an older episode now, but I had missed it. And a couple times she had mentioned like fear of rejection and all these things. And finally, after a few times, you go, so is it ever you that like gets rejected? And she was like, no, like, because I was thinking this. I was thinking, you don't ever fucking get rejected. You know you don't, Zandra. And I love that you finally called her on it. It was so funny.
I think that moment was probably why she like didn't share. Except there's some point where she said, "I've been on like this many days. I've been on went on all these dates when I moved here." And then she was like, looked at the camera, was like, "I mean, not that I went on that many." And I'm like, "No, it's fine that you went."
There's never any overlap. Yeah.
But I think she was like, "There's those moments where people are like." Oh no, you know.
I find her so infectious, just like her energy. And I've said this on probably every pod I've ever talked about her, but like I book her a lot on Don't Tell Tri-Cities and I've worked with her a bunch otherwise. And I just like her material, her stage presence, all of that aside, to have her in a green room is just like such a treat. Like,
yeah, she's fun.
It's a good energy. It's a good hang. Everyone is happy when she's in the room, and
that's true.
And the type of person who does not bring that energy to the room. So I need those golden retrievers around to like make me happy. But it is infectious.
Yeah, when we did the Wallace show and I came in, there was the headline, and I'm just like, don't expect me to bring any fucking fun. I'm totally in my head about what I got to do. Yeah. I'm just gonna be weird.
Yeah,
maybe
it was great. I thought you did great. I thought everyone did great. I was very happy with how your crowd received us because I mean you had Brandy Augustus hosting that show, which was a wild move, and she didn't pull any punches, and you know maybe she shouldn't, but they embraced her. She and I have talked privately about it too, and she actually sent me that. She wants that to be her new tape. Like she's very proud of that reaction.
Yeah,
so
good.
They were very encouraging. I had fun. I did a little guest spot, and they were very nice to me.
Great.
I thought everybody did really great.
Yeah, it was a fun night.
I was very happy, and it was cool to meet Cloud too. I had not met Cloud Hudson, and to watch her experience something outside of Asheville. Yeah. For I don't know if that was her first time. But
first time Johnson City. So that was kind of part of it too. Is like trying to be a cross pollinator, trying to like let's come up here and talk shit with these people a little bit, you know? And then
see what's going on over here, this side of the mountains.
Yeah.
She did also, like, Cloud said when like backstage, there was some level of like after the set, there was some level of like, whoa, you know, like not that it was a bad set, but just how different the reactions were.
And Cloud's like super active and basically runs our two Tuesday and Wednesday mics. So is either hosting or running it, and then runs the Diana Wortham like theater art like lights. And so immersed in Asheville too. So I think there was that kind of like, wow, I'm in the South again, which is cool. That's the thing that like I want all of us to kind of do more of that.
I mean, I think you and I have talked about that too, of just like trying to diversify not only your set and your material and stuff, but your audience. I think is so important. I've even my girlfriend is in pharmacy school, and for the next 2 months she's living in Raleigh, doing some shadowing. So I've pulled every string I've ever developed in connection, and I've got a lot of shows between Raleigh, Greensboro, Winston, all around the Carolinas for the next few months. And I'm so like, the last few months have been sort of a burnout period for me locally, where I'm like, I just,
you get stuck in that energy.
I've been stuck in the mud.
So much bigger than your scene.
Yes.
And the bullshit drama that you know way too much about.
That's the real issue. Where it starts to bleed on the stage a little bit. And I don't want
When am I going to be back on all your things?
Yeah, when am I well, also we the state of our very small local scene is not great right now. So I'm also experiencing a lot of first time, hey man, how do I go about getting on your shows because other opportunities are going away, and then how do I be honest but also decline in most of these situations?
Find other opportunities, Yeah. You let a person know every once in a while, but you have your answer. They got their own shit going on. You need to go out into the unknown. You need to send more.
Yeah.
You could even start your own show.
Well, let's not get crazy, right? Let's not get crazy.
You could even start it.
Well, it's typically the folks that have no intention of doing that and don't do hardly anything. So when that one opportunity they do take advantage of is probably going away in the near future, then it becomes, hey, I've been meaning to ask you, like, right, because you know that very soon you'll never do comedy again. Like, and I will say I called that for about the last 2 years. I've said all of those people will jump ship, and they will be in my DMs. And one by one, they're knocking.
How long have these people been doing comedy on average? At least a year?
I guess it depends on your definition of that question, right?
I love what you said about people that say they've been doing it for 20 years. And like there's like one particular person in the region I've done shows with. We all go around 5 years, 6 years, 12 years. You haven't done a set since COVID. Right. Like it's not, it's like how regularly. So like I was talking with Cody about this. It's like, here's your first year of comedy.
Love Cody.
Don't ask to get on a single show.
Yeah.
Probably don't film your shit either. Maybe that's changing now. I don't know. But just don't. Your first year, you go out every week.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever's available at least once, and you just do the work and you hang out and you be humble and you don't expect. And maybe you'll be one of those rare people that during their first year, people want you on shows.
Yeah.
Don't expect that. Most of us aren't. And it's good to just observe and be shitty and work on your material. Like, don't. You do that for a fucking year. Like a year is nothing. At least. So that's it's like
Yesterday I was recording with Chris Tester, who is like one of our newest comedians in Bristol. He
you were
started
talking about him last time.
Yeah,
he's like getting good quick, right?
Good, great writer for sure, and getting a lot of opportunity quick is what I would say. And so it was cool to sit with him on mic and hear him talk again very candidly and honestly about like, I think I just came along at a very tumultuous but interesting time in the local scene to where there are some gaps.
Awareness, humility.
Right.
These are...
I like him.
These are good.
He grew on me. I made him
qualities.
dinner. I literally made him dinner after the show. We hung out for hours and talked shop, and I was like, here's the truth of, and I feel very
you turned
strongly...
that mic off, didn't you?
Oh. Yes,
Sorry,
we did.
Go ahead.
No, we turned it right off. We spent twice as much time off mic than we did on.
Everything I said on the podcast is fucked. Here's this person, that person, blah, blah, blah. The real.
The interesting thing is like I used to feel so bad about that. About like, oh, am I talking shit? Am I rabble-rousing? What am I doing?
Great.
In his case in particular, and I told him, I go, everything I'm saying to you is strictly personal. So filter it, take what you want. But I was like, there are some things I feel that you're so eager that others will see that and take advantage of you. And I was like, in my case, I don't mean this bad, but I don't need you. Like, I'm not that desperate for feature spots on it. Like I'm not trying to groom you to my side of the team or whatever. There's no team for me. I'm just here's the reality and the information. You do what you want with it. And I think it's a shock to someone like that who has kind of, he's 8 months in, I think. So it's all so bright and everybody's a happy family, and like I hate to shatter that reality for him, but he just came and did Asheville. He did I think, was it Slice of Life competition?
Yeah.
He got like third in that.
Oh, nice.
He's 8 months in.
Yeah.
So he has some real potential. And I think in his case for me, it would feel much worse for me to just kind of let him blindly fall into these traps that I see ahead of him than to maybe talk a little shit, but to at least go, hey, there's a hurdle coming up.
Yeah.
And I've tripped over it. So here's how to not trip over it. It's like a sense of maybe mentorship or something, or I see myself in him and I'm like, I need to help this guy because I want him to stick around. He's very good.
Yeah. I mean, if people are wanting him to be on shows in his first year, that's good.
He's done Knoxville already. He's branching out. All the things you and I talk about, he's doing at 8 months.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, yeah, I wonder, do you know if he's like, is he actively sending out? Is people just coming to him because people are just noticing him? Is it mostly that? Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah,
I mean, I think he is pursuing for sure.
Yeah.
But he's also a rarity in our scene that he has an interest in doing things other than Blue Ridge or other than Don't Tell Tri-City. Like most people in our, again, small local scene are like, well, I go every Wednesday. That's just not enough for me. You know, and that's not enough for Chris, and he's brand new, so that's good.
It's scary to get out too. I mean, that'll humble you up real quick and make you a lot kinder to get out of here. It's kind of like all things through comedy, like business owners listening to your podcast, that experiencing the world in different cultures. Like I went up to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania a weekend before last, and like it was really cool to get to go along for it was like just different. Yeah. I mean, and it was just things
that's the
were just
home of Shane Gillis.
Different. That's
his club.
That was his home club. Yeah. So that is true because they were all saying it.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, that's definitely true. I know that from my own, local Shane Gillis impersonator that I am friends with. So I know, it's that's his home club. And I have a friend, weirdly enough, my high school best friend moved off after college to pursue like an engineering job, and for about a year he lived in Harrisburg, and he went to that club a few times and would send me pictures and be like, check this out, I'm here and stuff. So I have like a weird connection to that room. But how was that experience?
It was awesome. It was amazing.
Really?
Yeah, I got to feature and do 30 as a feature, so it was perfect. Like,
who'd you feature for?
There's a guy named Coleman Green.
Yeah,
he's like a road comic.
Cool.
I'd say he's probably like, I would guess, older than me. He said he's been doing it like 25 years.
Did you know him, or did the club just kind of fit you in? Or?
Yeah, there's a guy that I've been wanting that like books the comedy zones that I was supposed to do the Cherokee Casino, and then like we talked about that, like, and
they're gone.
The day before they were gone.
Yeah.
So then that was kind of that guy that I hadn't worked with him before at Books the Comedy Zone, and he booked me up there, which is a lot farther. On the way up, I was like, damn, why am I driving?
What is that drive?
8 hours. Yeah. And it came with a hotel, and I definitely made cool. So it was, I didn't lose money or anything like that. And but it was amazing, and really for me, like getting the 3 days where I'm just not a dad or a career guy. And then I'm like writing. I'm like between the sets, like writing new stuff, clipping things. Yeah. Sending out the booking emails, so that's kind of nice to have that. Like,
very nice.
It's comedy, but it's also like a way to just like get away from here, like get that far away. I was like, this is too far, but too far is good because like good. It's blue collar, I'd say, but like a different type.
Nobody knows you.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah. None of that.
Do you ever feel like you're kind of like cosplaying comedy on the weekends a little bit? I experience, and it's probably some level of like imposter syndrome, but there's been like I've headlined one show officially, and that I remember that whole weekend, like going to the city, getting the hotel, headlining the show, all these things, and other comedians on the show being like, "Hey, Mr. Headline," like I'm like, I don't like that's not me. It doesn't come natural, but there's a level of like real enjoyment that comes from it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Afterwards, did you feel happy when you did it?
I felt okay.
Because I think the lead up can be kind of to a headliner gig. I'm trying to do it more. I've been doing it more, but it can still feel a little like, man, that feature spot sure is safe. It's like,
it's nice.
It's a little less time. They haven't been sitting in their chairs. So like once they've been in their chairs like 75 plus minutes, they're kind of it's just harder to there's still a person talking and hopefully people didn't go over too much, or whatever. So
it does feel like that 75 mark. You're living on borrowed time. After that, that clock is ticking.
I don't like the show to be longer than 90 minutes when I headline, just because I think that's where I want to get to is like, I want to be able to do an hour and have it be like maybe the second hour of a show, but that's probably a ways off. I'm trying to do 40 to 45 and keep the show under 90 minutes.
Yeah.
But then the nice thing about that is then when somebody asks you to headline and it's 30, you can go, sweet. Now it's like, it's going to be like
plenty of time.
All the jokes I really want to do.
Yeah.
It gets a little fillery.
It does. Yes, it does. I think, that one instance I was booked to do 30, and it was just like a brewery show in Raleigh, but I have a connection there that is really kind and really great, honestly. And he was like,
Tyler?
No, this is actually Mark Brady, who has, again, it's all subjective, but some level of success online and has two specials out. Is a nice guy, and I met him at a different Don't Tell, and I had just probably one of the best sets of my life in front of him, just as luck would have it.
Oh, hell yeah.
And so from that, he was like, hey, I need somebody to close the show. And he booked me for 30. And he was like, but you can run, whatever, if you're having a good time. And in my head, I was like, there's no fucking way I'm hitting 30. And then I got lit. And then I got lit again, and I was like, okay, I'm probably over. And then I got lit again, and I came off. And the host is my friend Jerry Patoka. He's a nice guy. And he was like, boy, you're really airing it out up there, huh? And I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, you're at 46 minutes. And I was like,
hell yeah.
What? I mean, I could not, until this day, I don't know how I did it.
Yeah.
Which, it was kind of a rowdy crowd, so there was a lot of engagement. But it was going good enough that, like, I wasn't really pulling out the B stuff. The closer was the intended closer at 46.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be 30. I mean,
perfect.
It was great. That was like my only experience being booked as the headliner, though. So I know it's all downhill from there. That was a good one.
Is it something that you're looking for more right now, or?
Not really. Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely open to it, and especially like closing a Don't Tell is generally 25 minutes. I've got that. But anything longer than that, I'm trying to just focus on having a tight 20 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, there's a way to look at it where it's like, should anyone ever do comedy for more than 20 minutes? Like, even like Netflix specials,
right.
I mean, maybe like, obviously, Chappelle, Louis, whoever you're like, Matt, but I mean, in general, it's like, I think even like a lot of the best working comics, it's like, you get it down to 20 and it's like, fucking, like what you were saying about the guy where it's like people need to breathe. There's a point where it's just maxed out.
I do think, and you hear famous, like I know Segura very famously and others have talked ad nauseum about like, man, I wish I could go back to just being a feature, like just being a solid feature, because like you said, there's much less expectation and pressure, but you do get to really stretch your legs at 20 or 30 and have a good time. I mean, I'm sure that Harrisburg show was like, that's probably the perfect setup. Oh yeah, that's perfect.
Just like a room that exists only for comedy, great sound, the friggin' clock. I'm like, the clock.
They got a clock.
It's like visible. It starts at 30 and it just counts down. And it's like, I don't need my phone on the stool. Because then
what a dream.
It's just like, man, it definitely made me go back to being like, I'm going to really try to send out more cold emails to clubs.
Yeah.
Because the clubs are just a place that exists for comedy. I feel like in the new era of just alt shows and like the Don't Tells are awesome and everybody's influencers and theaters and stadiums, the club where people are just like, let's go to the club this weekend. We don't even really need to know. It's going to be a good time at the club. I think it was sort of like that. And we don't have that in Asheville.
I'm always amazed at the level of trust people put in Don't Tell too, and that's coming from a Don't Tell, like a proud producer of the company. I mean, I love what I do for them, and I love the company. No complaints at all, especially because in case they listen. But I'll complain after. But I do like the fact that someone would pay $25 and change for. They don't fucking know. Like they have no idea who's on.
It's amazing.
And more often than not, there's 4 to 6 comics, and maybe you only like 3 of them, but you still get 3 comics that you like, and that's I always like after every show I'm not easily impressed with myself. That's one thing I'm just naturally deficient in. I can't. There's no compassion for me.
That's why you're doing all the cool shit. You don't, if you're all impressed with yourself.
See, I don't even know that it's cool. That's what I'm saying.
Not even like
I'm just a sick person.
That's what it is. That's what drives you to do all.
Yes, it is. Which I'm grateful for. I don't want to become too self-indulgent
you
either.
just be bugging other people to get on their shows.
Right.
If you just were like, I'm great.
No, I'm
make
not.
Make me the guy that.
Oh my God, there's nothing worse. You'll never hear me, God forbid, you'll never hear me say anything like that. But I do like having that opportunity to showcase those folks and that people pay the $25 and they, and I say this all the time too, like if they scan the QR code, get the email, find out where to go, put it in the GPS, get the babysitter and show up, generally they want to be there.
Yeah.
You know, whereas with like in the club setting, even occasionally it is those people who are like, we're at the bar, but there's a club across the street. Y'all want to go see some comedy. And then they ruin the show.
Yeah.
Typically, don't tell. I would almost call it a stocked pond too, where it's like they want to be. And in my case, we 25. Have a lot of returners.
Yeah.
You know, we have people, we have one couple that's been to like 15 of the last 30. Like they're always there, give or take. And that's great. I'm glad that we've built that, but they want to be there. And they even like some of our returners, I think, model for the new folks. Cause I always ask if I'm hosting, like, who's your first time and who's returners. At this point, there's shows where it's almost 50-50. And I'm always like, all right, so the new folks watch the person next to you. This is the etiquette.
Yeah.
Like, learn.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. And they will. I've seen our regulars tell new folks who are disrupting, like, don't ruin this for me. Like, we're here all the time. This is not your thing.
Yeah, the Comedy Zone, they did that too. There's like, you know, shut the fuck up, little speech before. And there's like a big dude that comes up. He's like, just say the name Todd. If there's like, there's not going to be problems. Audiences are great. But like, people have thought of things. Like, if there is a big problem, like, it's just, and of course there wasn't. Everybody was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, $25 tickets. I mean, that's one thing where I've done a few like headliner things where I try to get the theater, and I've gone with their suggestion to go for the lowest, like $10. And I think that's a mistake I've made.
Yeah.
That like 25 is like, you know, psychologically you might even get as many or more sales because it's like, it's this good. I mean, Don't Tell has the brand, so it's different.
But they think, what are we going to see?
And then when they're there, they're like, I want this to be good. I paid $25. Yeah, like I'm invested. Whereas like going for the lowest and $10 tickets, you sell a ton of them and you still like, shit, I'm gonna like lose money paying people and the ads too. So crunching the numbers, but Don't Tell is a really interesting model. The way that they've kind of
it's fascinating. And there's other promotions now. Like I don't know if you've done any like the Next Stop comedy shows. That's a big one.
Yeah, of it. I've never done one.
I've done a few. I've got a few coming up.
Copying that model, trying to
essentially. Yeah. But they actually announced the lineup. The headliners.
Oh, really?
Known.
Okay,
yeah.
Interesting.
I believe so. And typically, you know, it's like the same caliber of headliners. So rarely does somebody probably see the flyer and know. If they do, they're pretty hardcore fans of comedy, you know, the local scene. But for the most part, like Next Stop and Don't Tell are pretty similar in that, like, it's showcase style. It's all about just like reaching an audience that would never go to the Improv, would never go to the funny, you know,
right? And
doing it in places where there's never been a live event. Which Next Stop pairs with local breweries. It's always in a brewery in town. Which I don't love as much as Don't Tell. Maybe I'm biased, you know. But
no, I think you're right. I think this brewery spaces every now and then a brewery will have some incredible back room.
Yeah,
that's not clang 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 tall ceilings.
Yeah, I've had a few. I just did a winery show over in Knoxville too. There's a guy named Justin Chavez who has a little winery out. It's actually outside of Knoxville in a little tiny town called Strawberry Plains, and like you get off the interstate exit and there's signs for the winery, and that's it. Like it's out in the middle of it's beautiful. It looks a Civil War battlefield. It's crazy. Like, and there's just a little shed. And they serve nice wine and stuff. And I mean, it was a winery crowd. You know, a lot of guys in Eddie Bauer pullovers or whatever the fuck. But like they were pretty generous, I thought, with their laughter and attention. I mean, it was a fun show. But I got to do that with Keith Marcel and Andrew McCaffrey and like all my favorite Knoxville guys.
Oh yeah.
So that's always a treat. Just to be. We were out looking over this beautiful, you know, again, landscape. It literally looks like a battlefield. And Keith was like, "Yeah, they fought over slavery here for sure." Like, it's like he's just being around those two is such a treat.
Yeah,
Keith is headlining the show I'm doing tomorrow in Greensboro, and I cannot wait to see that. To see him close out a Don't Tell in a new city it's incredible.
Hell yeah,
he deserves
amazing.
it.
Yeah, and Andrew too. He's one of my. He's someone I've wanted to get on here, but I haven't yet. He's one of my all-time.
I've said this a billion times.
Originals.
If I could just keep a little Andrew McCaffrey on my shoulder at all times, I would be the happiest man.
You got the cigarette just hanging out of his mouth.
You guys are a great crowd. He also, for anyone listening who doesn't know, Andrew McCaffrey is a Knoxville comedian that I love everything about him. I've always loved Andrew, and he is doing this series right now. Have you seen these videos where he's like, you guys are a great crowd? Yeah, it's like performance art. I don't really know what the hell. He doesn't know. But I was with him at that winery show, and he showed me the behind the scenes, like unedited 5-minute cuts of those videos. It is so fucking funny. It's him trying to deliver those, him being like, you guys, hey, you guys are a great crowd. Yeah, just
alone under his phone,
just in the woods, front facing, 2 cigarettes in his nose or whatever that. He is on a level of his own, you know. He's a special guy, and I need people like that. My scene, I don't really have that. Like Travis is my number one guy, but he's always gone these days, as he should be.
Yeah,
doing festivals.
Knoxville's got stuff, more mature scene, I'd say.
More of a hang too. There's a lot more friendly faces around. It's also kind of warped for me. Like I think you and I have even talked. Like I don't really know anymore. If I'm in a room full of comics, I'm not really sure if I had a good set or if they just want to do Don't Tell Tri-City. You know, like I don't really know anymore.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll leave and be like, man, that guy is really nice. And I'll tell somebody and they're like, that guy's a fucking asshole. And I'm like, he was nice to me.
Yeah.
And they're like, of course he was. You know, and I don't even even 2 years into I don't think about that. And I tend to take it a little more personal than I should, like interactions with people. So I'm working on that too. You know?
Yeah, that does. As you kind of accomplish more things in your local scene, it can be a little more like that, where people are like, "Hey,
my experience is
I listen to your podcast. When am I going to be on?"
Yeah,
like that was quick. You're supposed to.
I do that a lot, and I think sometimes it's like they're either really nice to me because they want
like
something
you like
from
it
me,
for a minute longer,
or fake it at least. Usually, I feel like most people are either really nice to me because they want something, or they're really mean to me because they want something. That's my experience.
Yeah,
currently is like. You know, I don't know. I guess
anymore. It's just anything in life. It's not really unique to comedy that if you achieve some perceived success to those around you,
perceived is a good term too, because I don't perceive it.
I stuck that word in there.
Yeah, I don't perceive it
because I'm not like I'm fucking crushing comedy, but it's like you know, with whatever the levels are of your scene. Yeah, it's like, well, you know, I've been going to these mics and. There's this guy that runs shows and there's a podcast. Like those are the things that I see that are
in this town. There's one show and one podcast, and that guy's both of them. So I guess I better suck up to him. Yeah, and I get it. I mean, I do the same thing on a more, you know, I guess geographically broad level. There's definitely people that I try to get FaceTime with. We all do. That's the nature of the business. But I think when it's totally disingenuous, and especially when like. You say one thing to me, but then it gets to, you know, we're in a small town with 4 comedians working pretty hard.
Yeah, so it gets back to you.
So, everything gets around, and it's like, I don't know who to trust or who to believe. That can be, that leads me to some of those burnouts that I'm feeling. So, for really, like, the last month, I've just been, like, telling my girlfriend, like, if I can just make it to April when I get to go to North Carolina and not know anybody, I'll be fine. And I rolled in on fumes. I won't lie to you.
So are you going to be in North Carolina for a while? Are you taking?
Yeah. So she's there for 2 months, and I've used like most of my PTO for the year to where I'm in Carolina at least 3 days a week for the next 2 months.
Hell yeah.
There's a couple shows, like I got booked on a show in Wilmington that's like a Tuesday, so I took like a Tuesday, Wednesday off in the middle of the week or something, but I still have a full-time job that I'm committed to, so I'm back and forth a lot.
Yeah.
The next 2.
Is Wilmington Don't Tell, or is it?
No, that one is
the club. So far, but I've been.
There's Dead Crow there for
Crow,
sure.
Yeah.
I actually am not sure if this show is at Dead Crow or not. I believe it might be, but I got booked to do 20 on like I guess a longer showcase where each comic goes 20. Even if it's not at Dead Crow though, just to be near that club and have a 20-minute set would probably be good for me. We're also toying around with the idea of relocating in that direction too. So the shadowing position that my girlfriend is doing right now has kind of
just to get away from the
just to get away. The main thing is like they've kind of like put the carrot on the stick of like, you know, if you do pretty good, we might hire you full time after graduate. Who knows? If that becomes true though, I think that there's probably enough for me to do over there that would justify us.
Don't tell or
no, so I would
comedy,
just comedy in general.
Okay, yeah,
just enough over like between Raleigh, Winston-Salem.
But when you said someone was like, we might hire you, you mean?
Oh no. So Haley's pharmacy position.
Oh, okay, yeah,
she's shadowing. Yeah, they might hire her.
I see.
Yeah. If all goes well for the next 2 months. Then that way she would have a reason to go, and I think. Honestly, Good Nights is enough of a reason for me that like I'm really targeting that stage and trying to get there.
Raleigh's a strong scene. People talk about Atlanta, and Atlanta is very strong, but every time I've gone to Raleigh and done brewery showcase. I'm like, holy shit, man.
There's just so much. There's independent stuff. They have 2-3 mics a night. Certain nights like that. The contrast for me is right now my closest mic is 90 minutes away. So anything is better than that. It's like I think a lot of the burnout I'm experiencing is geographical for sure.
Yeah.
And if I could just fix that problem, I might be a lot happier.
Yeah.
Doing this thing.
Yeah, it's weird. I guess like Johnson City doesn't even like have a mic. Why is somebody not running a comedy mic?
There's one starting next week.
Is there?
Weirdly enough, yeah. So we used to have one was Run Bar, and there was Little Magic. It was ran by okay. It was ran by a comedian named Phil Taylor. I don't know if you've had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Taylor.
I've never met him, but I know he runs shows. And
he did for a while. I don't know that he does these days, but he did for a while, and that mic kind of fizzled out and was never fantastic, honestly. But then, so now Hillary Begley has moved over in our direction to Irwin, and she's relaunching that mic starting next week.
Oh, shit.
So Travis and I have both committed, like we're going to try to get that back off the ground. And I do think a lot of the problems with the mic were some of the comics involved. So I have a little more faith in Hillary, honestly, that maybe that'll be good for us to have. Yeah. Now I may come back in 6 months and be like, fuck Hillary. No, I love Hillary.
Is it a Sunday mic?
It's a Tuesday.
Okay, because Hillary she's run Sunday mics here for forever. It was always cool. There was a great one at Root Bar. It's just down the road.
Really?
The place got washed away, but that was
yeah. How did that affect you? Did you have any during Hillary?
No, we were good. I mean, there were trees and all kinds of things that fell, but our house and car didn't get smashed up. We had no power, water, electricity for like 2 months, so that was crazy. But we didn't die or get just bashed up.
Right, could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. But Hillary's she brings a certain energy to a mic that's be pretty chaotic and
just to the
fun.
room. Yeah, just to the room.
Because I noticed she's doing I'm doing her. I'm gonna open up for her at her taping, and it's in Johnson City.
So that's the place she's doing the mic.
Oh, nice.
Same place.
Little Magic.
Okay, that's the new name of
the
Rum Bar.
Get to check it out.
It's an interesting room. The owner's very kind and has always been kind of pro comedy. I think personnel was the majority of past issues. I hope. But the first time I ever went there was a fight that broke out between a comedian on stage and a person in the audience, and like
physical,
pretty physical. Yeah, like it was pretty aggressive, and
that's perfect for Hillary's mic. That's the kind of she.
I don't think it has anything to do with the room, honestly. I hopefully that won't repeat itself. Also, I think Hillary could kick their ass if they did that. Yeah. I wouldn't want to mess with her.
She has a certain authority for sure.
Yeah, she's got a cute dog too. I just met her dog the other day. Yeah, I saw her at the Disclaimer. I've been coming over on Wednesdays doing that here and there, and that's a really fun one.
Yeah, that one is. Yeah. That's a good room.
And then Trav and I did the Odd with you that night on Tuesday too.
Love the Odd. I did that one this week.
It's good.
That's my favorite place.
I was telling Chris last
first
night.
First place I ever did comedy.
I was like, that would be the biggest possible culture shock for you. For Chris. Coming from Blue Ridge, it was like the opposite end of the spectrum in comedy is the Odd. That's as different as it gets. But I was like, you should do it for that reason. Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, it was very different. I think Disclaimer, Wednesdays are also a lot easier for me. So I've done it 2 or 3 times now, and I'm just always very pleased at the amount of non-comics in the room.
Yeah.
At
Disclaimer always does that. That room's, it's been in a lot of rooms, so that room's big, but they're getting it dialed in, so it feels small.
Travis had also never done it, so it's pretty rare that I get to introduce him to something in comedy. So I was like, let's go do this thing. And of course, he absolutely buried me on the lineup. I mean, he's so talented, but it's cool to just like see, Ryan Gordon or you or Xandra or Hillary, like these people I know from Asheville, because I do think sometimes that mountain range makes us feel light years away.
We should be more.
Yeah.
Mixing more.
Yeah.
Asheville we have a lot of strong comics. They leave and come back. I think right now we've got a pretty good crew.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think I know Atlanta is kind of similar. I think like I spent a lot of years like kind of trying to get FaceTime with Nick Murphy. I don't know if you know him. He's from Atlanta.
Yeah.
And he's another one that's
Not
just like
but
one of my favorite comics I've ever worked with.
Yeah.
But he's also a great dude, and he's been very generous with like information and advice and stuff. And he obviously moved to the mothership. But I know that Atlanta is also one of those places that it's big enough to where like he will eventually come back and do some shows and stuff and see his friends. Like I like the idea that there's scenes out there that are worth coming back to. Whereas with mine, I'm like, I'm going to keep running my show, even if we move. But like, there's not a ton.
When you say your scene, you mean Bristol, or you just mean the Tri-Cities?
Tri-Cities,
I guess.
Yeah, like we do have the Wallace, and I mean, I kind of twisted your arm for a guest spot on your show there.
Perfect. You're great.
Ryan Gordon, I went and saw. I didn't even do a spot. I just went to support and see him there. So I like that you guys are coming over more, and we have that space, which the Wallace is fucking great. It's a great room.
After that show, Chris was like, "Yeah, we should do it again. I'm trying to do clean shows now." And I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah." I think he's been working with Grampy a little bit too.
And I was like, "I wonder if that was clean or not."
Cleanish.
Yeah,
I mean, minus me and Brandy, maybe it was pretty clean.
I mean, clean is weird because you guys don't. I don't know. You guys don't seem that unclean to me. Maybe unclean to me almost feels like dark, like shocking topics.
Yeah,
not just like playfully suggestive, or I don't know, even like playfully sexual, like kind of cute. I don't know. It's hard to draw the line, but I don't.
It's very hard.
It seemed cleanish to me. But when he said that, I was like, I wonder if he thought that was clean or not.
Right.
I don't know.
I think he probably thought you were clean. He must have missed my set and Brandy's set or something. But we
start dirty, then we go to clean.
That's true. It's the opposite of the club dynamic. Chris Maloney's also a great guy. Like we've done Don't Tell there several times, and he's very welcoming, and
he's got that place down and so nice too.
It's a great space.
And he gives you a tape that's like a way nicer camera.
So nice. The green room, it's incredible.
Room.
To have something like that in our scene that I feel is being like very, historically at least, has been very underutilized or underappreciated, is like there's an opening there for someone to come in and go, I'm running a bunch of shows here. We're going to convert this into the premiere thing. It's just our problem is personnel. We don't really have someone to step in and do that, and I'm not in a position to do it, and Travis doesn't want to do it. He's trying to get out of town as much as he can.
Yeah, you can't really be...
Yeah.
On the road doing stuff, being married, and then also running everything in your town.
He's also he does home renovation. He's got so much going on, and I have a full-time job. So I think there's a pretty disparaging gap in our scene between those that are at the level that we're getting out of town and other things, and then there's like open micers. There's no like middlemen who are like really grinding it out.
Yeah.
Investing in the scene. That doesn't really exist.
It can be kind of like, I know like when Cody moved to Cincinnati, he was saying like here the senior comics that get on shows don't go to the mics. Like at some places it's like the mics are for the newer comics that are, and then once you graduate to like showcases, you just do those. And I like here that Tuesday and Wednesday, those mics have been, I started over 10 years ago, and both those mics were running the odd in the same room. So to me, it's like when I started, there was some really strong senior comics that mostly have moved now. And I liked that.
Who was like the one when you started that you were like, I can't believe I'm in a room? Because there's always one, and then of course over time you realize.
Cody was a favorite then. I mean, he had been doing it a long time when I started. I didn't really. He was going through a time where he was and he listens to this podcast. He's one of our.
Okay, I love Cody.
He was going through a very experimental time that he talks about now as being like, I need to get back to that wild. I was like, it was pretty wild and dark, and he would never, every week it was like, now those bits are gone forever. So he was at a really, he wasn't like really building an act, and I think now I could appreciate what he was doing then. But like everybody, he was a comics comic, but I was just like,
those tend to be my favorite.
He was very like, I think he was drinking back then, and there was a darker kind of more like energy, and now he went on that journey, and he's come to a place that I probably prefer his comedy now a lot more.
Yeah, sure.
There's a guy named...
He would probably say the same thing.
Yeah. Do you know Jason Webb?
I do know Jason.
He's like... I don't know if he's been coming out that much recently, but...
I haven't seen him in forever.
I think he's like maybe getting engaged, and we're all getting older. He was probably my favorite. Like when we started. Jason. He was great. Yeah. There's a guy that actually started just after me who's had some health issues named Jess Cooley.
I've seen that name for
nowhere
sure.
Even near clean, but Jess is, just one of those people like within the first year, just insanely good.
Yeah. I think I may have done a show with him at some point too, but
Grayson Morris, she moved out west. She was incredible. She was someone that like I would see her come with her notepad and she'd be kind of funny.
Yeah.
And try stuff. And then I went to see Louie at the Orange Peel right before my kid was born, like 10 years ago. And she opened for him and did a tight 10-20, and it was blew my mind. I was like, oh shit,
right?
The mics are for new stuff, and how many of them got this up their sleeve?
Yeah,
there's a guy named Macon Clark who moved away.
Nathan
He was like kind of mean, but extremely funny and terrifying and big.
I have this experience where everyone, when I started, that I was like, that guy's the funniest. They're all either still around, still in the same town, or quit.
Yeah.
Nobody makes it out.
Right.
You know, like I would almost argue that Travis is the premier example of success in our scene. Of like, he does festivals. He, you know, like he's achieved more than anybody else. Yeah. And he hates when I talk like that. But he's also like one of my closest friends, and I say that lovingly, you know, but he
hates when you say like extremely kind.
Oh, he hates it. He hates it. He cannot accept it.
I just appreciate it. He hates hearing that.
Yeah. He hates when I talk nice about him. He does. I mean, he's much like me, where it's like I think we both share in that as soon as we embrace that, it's game over.
Right. Yeah.
Which may be unnecessary and probably does damage us on some psychological level, but like that's just default for both of us. We're very similar.
And it's hard to take a compliment. I mean, I can't, you know.
Yes, it is. It is, especially from your peers, because it's like with you, like, well, it's hard to take compliment. It's easy for me to take feedback, though. Like if you say, hey, I have this tag or this thought on something, I very respect you and trust your information. Others not so much, but like I can internalize that. But if you come to me after a set and you're like, dude, you are so you might as well not even talk to me. I don't hear it. I don't hear it at all. And that's not, I think some people say that and don't mean it. You know, that's who I am outside of comedy as well. Far be it for me to ever accept that I'm like a good son or a good employee or a good boyfriend. I can't allow that.
Yeah.
I can't.
And it probably does drive you to do a lot of the things you do. Because
I think I would just get complacent.
If we were truly just content to sit and watch the trees or whatever, or in Nashville, you know.
Yes,
like, I mean, why would it be like, gotta grind, gotta get the shows, gotta write more, it's like, you know, we're never gonna get enough.
Yeah,
it's never going to give it. But along the way, you know, we talked about this last time. Like, I don't really get depressed. I don't really. My understanding of that is I don't want to get out of bed. So it does. There are good. It keeps me. Yeah. It keeps my brain active. It keeps me engaged with the culture now and different. I've learned so much about different people's experiences going to the mics and listening to like trans comedians and people. Black comedians, whatever. So it's like, it is good for me.
It's almost like an education through humor, which I think because have always been so receptive to humor, that's really the only way to educate me. Like,
it's the only way to educate anyone.
If you get too preachy in particular, I'm out. I'm out. And that even goes for, there's certain comics that come to mind of like, you know, you go up there and get clapter and you get a little preachy or on your high horse, and it doesn't resonate with me.
Nothing worse.
Some people do. Some people love
worse
it.
Than a comedian that's smarter than you that's going to teach you something. I mean,
right now, what I want is someone who's dumber than me and teaches me a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm in it for.
The clown, and then you're driving home like, wait a second.
Yeah,
I think about life differently now.
Well, I tend to be drawn to. There's a few examples, but like for me, Conan is probably the biggest one. He's another huge influence for me. Something about redheads from Boston, and he. He's like the perfect example for me of like that man is a comedic genius and unbelievably silly. Like that combo of the smart idiot
lowbrow,
or the stupid genius, right? Like that. I even think like to our Andy Griffith thing, you know, Don Knotts played a buffoon in the most brilliant way, where it's like there's nothing funnier to me than an idiot who thinks he's smart.
Right.
That's number one.
Yeah.
And then a close second is a genius who thinks he's dumb. You know what I mean? Like that combination
like Norm comes to mind.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think mentioning Cody a lot today, but he has always said to me that comedy is talking about a lowbrow thing in a highbrow way, or talking about a highbrow thing in a lowbrow way.
Perfect. I love Cody. He one of the first times I met him, I worked with him. God, I bet I was 6 months into comedy, and I got very lucky hanging around the old club at Blue Ridge, and I got to host a weekend for Gianmarco Ceresi, who is incredible. He's another one of my favorite headliners I've ever worked with, and Cody was featuring that weekend. So I just kind of met him like in passing and stuff, and then cut to a few months later, weeks later, Pruitt drags me over the mountains over here to the Orange Peel mic, the Pulp. Is that still even a mic? Does that exist?
She's been doing the competition solely and not the mic.
Okay. So we did that, and it was so intimidating.
Yeah.
I had never been out of Bristol, really. It was one of my first experiences, and it didn't help that I was a Pruitt, because when he gets nervous, he starts throwing back whiskey. And when he starts throwing back whiskey, he spent the entire lead up to the mic being like, you know who that is over there? She books this. She books that. And I was like, will you shut the fuck up? Like, I was so
Whiskey
nervous.
Bradley. Tell you something. I was like, all right, man.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm just trying to remember.
That's Melissa on. And I was like, I don't care. I can't think about these things. But Cody was hosting that night, and out front, somebody, I believe, my memory is somebody walking by handed him a CBD joint, and he like jokingly hit it or something, and then all night while hosting the mic, he was like, sorry, I'm just so faded from all that CBD that I've been and it was tearing me up. He kept going back to that well, and I remember thinking, this guy is so funny in such a Cody way, you know what I mean? That like I'd worked with him twice at that point, and I love being around people like that. Who Xandra's another one kind of where it's like I don't really know anybody like her.
Yeah,
I just want to be around them.
Yeah, it's nice to have that, just the energy.
It's also nice to know I'm not feeding off. I'm not going to steal Xandra's act. I don't have to worry about, like, is it going to rub off on me?
Yeah,
I'm not going to be like, yeah, I put lidocaine on my dick or whatever. Like, you know, I can't steal
I've been on so many Tinder dates.
Right. And I love them. Yeah.
I rejected all of them.
Yeah, for sure she did. For sure.
Yeah, Cody's, I think he's like settled into a different place in life, but he would always kind of just sit there and be like, you know, just very kind of, and then he gets up and he like transforms.
Yes.
I remember seeing that there's the Hillarys. She's like this cartoon character on exactly the same.
On and
she
off.
steps off the stage and it stays. And then there's the ones like Cody that just like transform.
Yes.
And then go right back.
Yeah, and I think I relate to that more. I think I'm maybe not quite as extreme as Cody in that way, but I definitely tune it up a little on stage.
Yeah, it's you, but it's exaggerated you.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I'm also, unlike yourself, apparently, I do have a long family history and struggle pretty severely with like chronic depression or just periods of like angst and, you know, loneliness and different things. I mean, my childhood was kind of isolating in a lot of ways too. So I do have these periods of darkness. So I think anytime I'm on stage, that's almost like a subconscious excuse to like flip the light switch on. Like I could have the worst week of my life, but when I'm up there, I can't allow that to show, or try not to, obviously, in a perfect world. So it's all, stand-up is almost like as much a refuge for me as it is an outlet, you know? It's like I get to show the audience a different character and me a little bit. That's become more important over time.
Yeah, I love that. And I mean, I struggle with, you know, like anger, anxiety,
me both.
rejection sensitivity. But yeah, I mean, not the like, I don't feel like doing a thing, like a lack of motivation's not been a thing. But I think a lot of that like dark stuff in my family and in my life, it is kind of like, how do you know, address that? Like there's the comedy, is the baskets thing, the comedy and tragedy. Like it's still.
I'm also 26, so I think I'm kind of in the thick of it. You know, I have some sort of like third person awareness that a lot of the things I'm experiencing will fade away. It doesn't really help in the moment, but hypothetically, I know that I'll probably get over. I've been through a lot and I've gotten over that. So I don't feel hopeless in any way, but there's just things that I wrestle with that I also don't talk about candidly a lot. So on opportunities like this, I think that, you know, again, I don't wish it on anybody, but if anybody happens to be listening and is like, man, those two guys are just so happy they get on stage and have fun. No, there's like days where I don't leave my house because I just can't stand the thought of bumping into somebody I know or whatever it is. So the contrast is like very important, and I think it almost like allows me to not take stage time for granted. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, man, this has been a rough week. I need this.
Do you think that as you keep doing it, do you want to go more into that, you know?
Yeah,
or like
I think so.
Address
I do
more of the darker stuff or the more vulnerable, maybe vulnerability is the word.
Vulnerability for sure. And my mother's also a professional psychologist with a master's in psychology, so I kind of grew up in that house, you know, and I have some awareness. I've been in professional therapy in and out for the better part of a decade, so you know, I think I can articulate it and talk about it. And it's never an embarrassment thing with me. It's just I'm yet to figure out how to address it on stage without slipping into the awes and the sympathy.
Yeah, right.
You know, how do I funny up these dark things? But yes, it's definitely something that I'd like to get a little better at. For sure.
I see a lot of people at mics. Like Asheville can be such an alt scene that there's been times where people almost start their first mic sets being like, I'm so sad. Like that, like they
like
watched
an AA meeting.
Yeah, like they watched a special and they saw Maria Bamford, and what they took from it is like just say all the sad things. It's like, yeah, but then if those people keep with it long enough, sometimes then they add jokes to it. But I've always felt like, for me, it's like I start with jokes, figure out the mechanics of jokes, and then now that I can do jokes to some degree, I am trying to get more into like making shit like that vulnerable. And there's still like go to the odd, and I'll try it. I'll be like, it still kind of felt sad, or a
little sad.
I think I came off on the wrong side. I think I sounded like an asshole.
There's also just rooms for me that exist. Like technically they're open mics, but in my mind that's an AA meeting. You know, like you see people go and be like, "Hi, my name's so and so. Hi, so and so. I went through this. I identify as this. I'm discriminating." And then they get clapped her, and then they sit down. Thank you for sharing. I try to avoid those because I think that part of me that experiences those deep, dark moments can very easily like buy into something like that. You know, where it's like I don't want to
think that you're being funny, but it's just supportive.
Correct.
Yeah, like when I started in Nashville, that group of seniors, like it was way more mean bully scene back then.
Yeah,
and we've talked about that on and off. How like maybe we lost a step somewhere. Where there have been times where there's been certain rooms in town where it's like, yay, we all started together, good job, and it's like that wasn't funny. So don't be doing that to me. You know?
Yeah,
sit there silent.
I think I fell for it a lot early on too, because I was very fortunate that when I came around, Blue Ridge had been open for, I think, about 6 or 8 months, you know, and so that kind of core first generation Blue Ridge family already existed. And they're very welcoming and embracing, but I was also the new guy and the outsider. And I was 20 years younger than all of them too. So I'm the new kid in town.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I'm like close and family, but also distant and isolated, which was the right mix for me. Because I think had I been embraced too fully, or had I been supported no matter what, I probably would have never gotten good, because there's no honest feedback there. Obviously I don't want to promote just like running off every new comedian by bullying them, but some level of honesty I do think is important.
Yeah, because that's what it is anyway with the audience, and it's like this isn't
they're gonna be honest.
Yeah, so it's like you have to, thick skin that's words people use for it sometimes, but you got to develop that. Yeah,
and I don't know, like humility. On some level too, everything I've said on this whole episode and really ever is like so strictly personal, you know, that it's like I don't know if every comedian ever needs some level of like hazing or bullying, but I know me, and I know even way before comedy in school, like my friend group were busting each other's balls, you know, like that's how I operate.
You take comfort. You see the love in that.
Yeah,
you understand that. Yeah.
And I grew up with like uncles, and you know, my dad was in and out of my life, but like most of the male figures in my life, including him, that's kind of like I don't remember a lot of older men telling me how much they love me as a kid. Yeah. I remember them picking on me and me knowing that means you love me.
You understood. Yeah.
I just understood it. So I think I operate that way a lot too. Even sometimes to a fault. Like I find myself kind of doing that with my own girlfriend sometimes, where I'm like, no, you got to also be sweet to her. You know, like you can't just bully her and she knows you love her. Like,
yeah, we've had to rein it in like several times recently with our kids and our family culture, because it gets to be like it's like, all right, we need to, for the whole weekend, let's try not to like rip on each other. Really? Because it's starting to be more people getting upset than laughing.
Well, your kids are getting to that age too, right? Are they teenager, preteen?
14 and 10, so it's like it can be
there's a lot of feelings.
Yeah, like it can be like, how would you think that would be funny, you know? But I get into probably more trouble with it, I'd say, then.
Sure.
I think I can take it, you know?
Yeah.
I remember when I started comedy, like they were in this scene. It's just changed a lot since then. It's not the same people, but they would roast each other so much between sets. Like if you could start your set by shitting on the person that was just up, and no one even acknowledged who I was doing comedy for like 6 months, and I talked to somebody outside and I'd be like, my kid, and they're like, you have kids? I'm like,
right.
You haven't listened to anything.
I just did 10 minutes on it.
Every week I'm here. And they're like, who are you? And then finally after a year, they started like shitting on me. And I was like,
you're in.
All right.
You're in. Yeah. I also, most of my influences, I think, like guys like Louis, or even like, Bill Burr's another one that comes to mind. Again, redheads from Boston. But I think, this is sort of a sidebar, but I do think that like Catholic like existence is suffering mentality is something I've always related to. I wasn't raised Catholic at all, but Louis, Conan, and Burr, all redhead Boston Catholic
kids. It's in there
kids.
though. White people, it's like the original Christianity.
It's white guilt.
We're from that.
Yeah.
You should be ashamed.
Yeah.
of any pleasure that you feel.
I was also raised Southern Baptist, and there was a lot of sexual shame and stuff too. It's baked into the DNA for sure. But I think that's why I also relate to that. Is like not only is existence pain, but love is pain. You know, like honestly, if I'm in a room and no one's talking to me, I feel a lot more uncomfortable than if everyone's making fun of me. That I feel. Obviously, it varies. Like I experienced a little bullying as a kid.
Attention
and stuff,
is nice, you know.
Yeah, if you know what to do with it, for sure. And if you can fire back. I also, I had an uncle growing up who most people would probably tell you was, the biggest asshole of all time. But to me, he was the funniest guy of all time.
Yeah. Because
I knew the intention. And he's one of those older white dudes from the South where, he can dish it, but if you dish it back, you would see him explode. He can't, he's not used to people dishing it back. So that kind of trained me to, I don't know if it's stick up for yourself so much as just play along.
Yeah.
You know, playing along is good.
Early comedic influence.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. And obviously he had his faults too, like we all do. But I think
I can tell by the person you described that they have faults.
He has a few faults.
There's no way. And
he's also an alcoholic truck driver who kept the 357 Magnum by his bed.
I somehow knew all that just from the first part.
Dude, that's what we could do 3 episodes on just characters from my family.
Model of the gun, but I was like,
oh, it's a big one. It's a big 357. Yeah, and guys like that, I remember as a kid thinking, man, he's really mean to me. But when I got older, I go, oh no, he liked me. I just didn't understand it at the time, because there's a lot of people in the family he didn't even talk to, and those people he hated. That's the difference.
Yeah.
And I think some of that has blended over to my social circle now, which is mostly comics.
Yeah, that's why when we turn the mic off and we talk a little shit about some of our mutual friends, it's we're giving them attention.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not all bad.
Yeah.
I do kind of tend to just not really want to even mention someone's name or give thought or time to them. If I'm really put off by them, I'm like,
yes.
Just.
And I think the last 6 months too, which I think you and I have talked about, I've experienced several different riffs or personal, disagreements within the comedy space that have led to some of that burnout. And in those situations, I'm not at all interested in discussing it. In fact, most mutual connections and comics have no idea what occurred or how I feel about it and stuff, because I don't want to go on tour with my side of the story or whatever the hell. I would rather just go.
It just perpetuates it.
Right.
It just gives more energy to it.
That's cut. That's no longer a part of my life, and honestly, for the better. So then I'm like, what's next? And what new connections can I establish to replace those old ones? And that's what we're trying to do,
Yeah, it's great. You're taking the North Carolina tour.
Doing that for the next 2 months. Yeah, running some different
moves to North Carolina.
Who knows? Who knows?
Easing on in, starting with this podcast.
Well,
North Carolina comic, Nathaniel Booher.
I don't know, and I'm not
it's got
totally
North in
opposed
the name.
to
It's
it.
fancy.
It's
I moved here
North.
from Tennessee.
Yeah, that's true. You did. I meant to tell you that
North Carolina now.
Last night when I was recording with my friend Chris Tester, we were having dinner at my apartment after. And I was talking about you. I was telling him I was coming to do this today, and he was like, Ryan Cox. He goes, I know that name. And then he goes, I think he comes on my people you may know a lot on Facebook. And he goes, he went to Oak Ridge High School. And I was like, did you go there? And he goes, no, but on Facebook, his profile, on people you may know, just says Ryan Cox, Oak Ridge High School. And he was like, I don't know if Ryan knows that's the predominant thing that's out there about him
I should
on Facebook. But turns out that's what you're
selling.
What's
he doing on Facebook? I thought this guy was young. I don't even go on Facebook anymore.
He's actually older than me, and I've been calling him a kid on my show for years. But he was like, I see him suggested all the time, and he goes to Oak Ridge High School.
That's crazy.
Like,
that's my thing. I'm like,
apparently that's in your bio on Facebook.
You guys have a lot in common. He went to Oak Ridge High School.
Yeah, I guess so. Which I think y'all probably have 1,000 mutual friends just from the comedy world.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why you're there. But yeah, that's how the world knows you, man.
I have to check out my settings, my profile settings.
Leave it. I say that's your new. That should be your new comedic.
What
bio.
else is there to say about me?
That's all you need.
I went to Oak Ridge High School. I graduated. Got bullied for being gay, even though I wasn't gay.
Hey, there you go. Dude, my favorite, I was telling Travis this the other day when you were telling me, I think on my pod, that you were like, sometimes in Asheville, they're like, I think Ryan's a conservative. And then you go anywhere else and they're like, is this guy trans?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like the
fact that you're somewhere in the middle is so funny to me.
But at the odd, they're like, is he like a Republican?
Right. Yeah, I think he's a closeted Republican, maybe. Yeah.
Then I got to the country. They're like, I think he's trans.
Yeah, 100%.
Something about the glasses.
I work at a credit union too, and it's me and 50 other white women in their 60s. That's it, and you can imagine their political takes and stuff. Like, most of my day is spent like I'm in a cubicle and just over the wall I hear like, "Psst, Diane," and she's like, "What?" And she's like, "Did you hear what Pete Hegseth said last night?" or whatever. It's all the fucking time. And so I am like the office liberal, even though in Asheville I'm definitely like a MAGA or something.
It's contextual.
Right.
I really liked you reminded me of a bit I think you tried at the Odd or somewhere about watching a documentary with your grandma or somebody like that, and Obama was doing you're just like waiting.
Yeah. I've not tried that again, but
I just hate him so much.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, basically, I was watching this nature documentary, which my grandma loves, and immediately after I clicked play, I was like, "Oh, I know that voice. That's President Barack Obama."
See her like trying
to place it, and
Why
she just.
do I hate this?
Yeah, I can't even remember. I think the tag I tried was like she just could no longer contain her Republican. She had to just be like,
I feel like that's something there for everybody. I feel like there's something there.
Yeah.
That's the bit that could make both sides laugh, and that's my favorite is when you can actually bring up the topic, but you're not taking a stand.
Correct.
You're just going like, isn't it fucking hilarious that we're all like this no matter which side? I think
I'm guilty of the first time I tried that was at the Odd, which is the
wrong time room I'm thinking of.
I
don't know.
I just don't have it down yet.
Yeah.
I'll try it in rooms where it'll go a little easier maybe, and then I'll figure out how to push it to the other side. Because it's also
in the room where I'm a Republican conservative.
right. Yeah,
I'll try it there.
I think the fact that I was like, my grandma's a Fox News lady, they were already like, I didn't say I am or anything, but just by association, which I think you and I probably talked last time. Anytime I'm in this town, I have probably an unnecessary level of like, they don't like me, I don't fit in here, which takes me all the way back to, of course, childhood and stuff. But I've found that like Disclaimer in particular, I can pretty much run my usual shit there.
Yeah, Disclaimer's it's our mainstream room. It's our club. So it's nice. And Carrie and PD and the guys, they've always set that tone. It's never been elitist. There's been certain like top comics that we've had over the years that have set that tone, but the guys that run that room have always been super like just unpretentious, So
unpretentious for sure.
So the Disclaimer is that it's our mainstream room, our club, for whatever that means here.
Well, every town has one. If you don't have a real one, you got to kind of. I think in some ways, like we have Blue Ridge, obviously, but like for Johnson City, I think Don't Tell's almost become the de facto club, which I'm very proud of and happy to provide. But like, it's also. It's not unnecessary pressure, but it is pressure that I'm like, I shouldn't be experiencing that. Like I wish there were other things going on where I didn't have to feel so bad for rejecting all the time, because I only have, like for the summer, we're down to like one show every 4 weeks because sales are tough during the summer, and ETSU lets out, and that's subtract 20,000 from my target demo. It's like, what do you do? And so then it's like pretty much for the entire summer, I have about 12 spots across the whole summer, and I already owe 8 of them or whatever. So it's like, I feel bad for having to reject.
And 7 of those 8 are going to cancel the day of.
Yes, day of. And I'm going to have to scramble and beg John Bass to headline my show. But I mean, it does happen, and it's, I'd say from the last time I was on here, which I don't even know, maybe a year ago or something.
Yeah, it was like almost a year.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of changes, both in me and Don't Tell in the scene. There's been a lot of differences, but one thing that's pretty constant is like I, for whatever reason, very kind of blessed or like naturally pretty good at just like moving on, like business as usual. And the shit does get to me. I would be lying to you if I just sat here and was like, I don't even care what people say. Of course I do, but I don't allow that to like stop me for whatever reason.
Yeah, use it as fuel.
Yeah.
I'll show these fuckers.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck you, Dad. That's me 90% of the day. It's like
perfect.
I think that's
all you need.
I can't remember who I was talking with about this on my show, but I was like, without that, if you take away all my traumas and stuff, I'm probably nothing. I probably do nothing. Yeah. I'm probably just a happy guy who sits at home and watches, whatever, The Bachelorette and eats frozen dinners. And I like, what a sad life. I don't want to do that.
Alternate universe version of you. Real happy, not funny.
Oh, I'll take funny all day over happy.
We are at 3:35 too, so I don't know if you're. I know you got a time.
I do. Thing. I got a show, so let's. Thanks for having me.
It was great though. We got into it,
dude. Thank you. Very excited. I'll come back anytime too.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll have you back.
God knows I can talk forever, but this is good. I'm also, as a person who hosts the pod and runs the shows and stuff, I think it gives me some level of appreciation for you doing it too, because it's like. There's some selfishness. Obviously, you get the content, you get the reps, you get the conversation and the human interaction. But it would be easy to just like do it for a while and then stop. And I mean, what episode is it? 200 or something?
No, it's like 157 or 8.
It's
something
incredible.
like that. Yeah,
that's incredible.
Same with you. We've kept it going, and I've only done a few other podcasts, but yours is the only other one I've done that I actually felt like I could be myself. Whatever you captured was me just talking. I wasn't like some weird
cool.
So which is that's why I started when I was like, so that's yours is great. And you've done a ton too. If you put your two pods together, you're in the hundreds too. So.
Yeah, I just broke 100 between the two of them. And I think like I don't do preloaded questions. Obviously I have certain things I want to talk to you about, but I just that natural flow is something that to be honest I kind of learned on this show doing with you and stuff, because I think last time I was on I was about to launch.
Right. Yeah. We were in between pods.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know. I think that the freedom to also there are a lot of awkward moments and pauses where me and the guest don't know where to go, but that is that's honest and true. I like that more than
when you said you've been getting out of your like doing more like other business owners and stuff. That's like I had a run of like that's when it gets awkward sometimes. I kind of want to be like, man, I just want to like for the summer I just want to have like stand-ups on, because there's never just people I can talk with so easily. There's not that like 2-second pause and I look over and they look terrified.
Yeah, it happens. And I've even had a few guests that I'm like meeting them for the first time.
Oh yeah, yeah, me too.
That's a weird one.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Maybe I'm just sick. I like the weirdness. I like that on camera you feel it. The listener,
it's real.
It's captivating.
It's raw.
Yeah,
and that's something that stand up you can bring to the stage too. It's like sitting in those awkward moments. Like it's real.
100%.
It's raw.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's alive.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate you having
come
me
back
on.
Anytime. We'll have you back.
Absolutely. You'll come. I'm sure you'll be over my way too. So check out my show. Ryan's been on there.
I'll put
Mind Over Mike.
Put a link down there.
Yeah. It's every other week. And it's always, kind of like we were saying, like the conversation's not always stand up, but it's usually broader and more
I mean yours is great. You have you've had your mom on, you've had a lot of business owners, people from all walks of...
She has the most views. It's like pissing me off. I don't understand. And I knew like comics are obsessed with my mom, and like I've dealt with that since the beginning, but like she's like sitting at like 300 views or something, where most episodes are around like 50, 60. And she loves it too much. She loves it way too much. Then I'm like, somebody's got to top this. We got to knock her down a peg,
Pruitt can't beat your...
he's getting close. Yeah, he's getting close. Yeah. Thanks, man.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Drive safe to Greensboro.
All right.